All right, welcome back. Ashley here with CrossRealms to give you a more in-depth look into Microsoft Word 2016. Last time we met, we went over some of the basic background things before we started actually working on our document. So for this video, we'll be getting into some minor paper editing. It'll cover some of the more simple things to do as we get warmed up to our application. So today we're going to start with modifying our page setup and going into some page views. So this is a pretty simple task. First we'll go into the page layout tab. And here we're going to see our page setup little box here. And you can do a couple different things. You can change the margins. Most people leave them alone because 1-inch margins are pretty much the norm. But you can see you can do a narrow, moderate, wide margins, mirrored margins, however you like to do it. You can change the orientation. This is going to change the way your paper is laid out. So right now it's portrait. If we change it to landscape, it's going to make it wider. There we go. See, now it's kind of like a PowerPoint slide. Probably the most similar thing. Change that back. We can change the size of the paper. Typical 8.5 by 11. Tabloid, legal, executive. And you can find many more paper sizes. Make your own custom paper size if you want. And then to edit some page views, we're going to click on the View tab. We're going to come over here to the Views box. If you want to, say you want to read, say you have a longer document, this one's not really good for this view, but if you have like a really long document and you don't want to read it the same way over and over again, you can click on the Read mode, and it makes it like a book format. So like here's the first page, you flip the page, second page. It's good if you have like a really long, maybe legal document that's just paragraph after paragraph after paragraph and doesn't like cut up like this. But that's always a way to kind of refresh your eyes. That way you can find your mistakes. Print layout is the current layout that it's usually on. It's the default layout. It's the most common one. Web layout is kind of similar to like a landscape sort of thing. It makes it wider, like how you'd view it on a web page. Not many people do this, but it's always an option. And then there's a couple different ways to zoom. We'll go into zooming. It's on the View tab still. If you click on Zoom, you can do any of these presets. You can make your own number up to 500. So if you really want to zoom into 500%, it gets real big. And then if you click on 100, so say we want to go to 200%, hit OK. Okay, you got this really big document, so you didn't want to do that. To quickly go back to 100, you can click this 100% button. Or you can come down to the slider here and click on this little middle halfway mark, and it takes you to 100. Well, you got to click on it the right way. You can do multiple pages. It'll show you more than one page on the screen. It'll zoom out to that size. You can zoom it into the page width, or you can just do one page. So you see the whole page instead of having to scroll down. So those are just some quick little zoom settings and some views and some different layouts. Now we'll start with actually really editing our paper. So we're going to start with headers and footers and page numbers. To insert a header and a footer, you can do two ways. You can either go into the Insert tab, come over here to the header and footer section, and click on header, or you can just double click here at the top, and it'll open up the header section. Now there's a couple of different things you can do. You can make a header a page number, or you can make it blank. There's a couple different presets. You can always make your own, but typically people just do the preset. And then if you want to get out of the header, you can either click Close Header and Footer, or you can double click anywhere else on the page. So now you see that we have CrossRealms up there at the top. It shows up at the top of every page. So we want to edit it. We want to put in something else. we'll just get rid of that one. So we can get rid of that if you don't want it. Close out the header. And it changes to all of the pages. So that's one little way to do a header. If you wanted to remove the header, you don't want to have to go in and delete it all, you can click this Remove Header button. If you want to put in a footer, currently there is a footer on this page. It is down here. It's our little logo. And if you didn't want one, you could do the same thing, hit Remove Footer. Or you could, change it to whatever you'd like. There's a bunch of different presets. And lastly, you can do page numbers. Page numbers are nice. A lot of people do page numbers at the bottom, usually the right corner where we have it already, our logo. See, it replaced our logo. And we have page 1. Close it out, and you can see at the bottom, page 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that's all of that. Also on the Insert tab, there's some background elements that we can do. I'm sorry, not on the Insert tab. The Design tab. So in case you want to add a watermark to your paper, you can click here on the Design tab, go to the Page Background little section, hit Watermark. These are the presets they have. You can do a custom watermark down here. You can make it whatever you like. If you want a picture watermark, that is an option. You can go into your computer and select a picture, or you can go on Bing. There's also a text watermark. You can make it a language. You can make it a long one, in this case. You can change the color. You can change it, we'll change it to blue since CrossRealms is blue. You can make it whatever size you like, but auto fits the paper a lot better. You can change it from diagonal to horizontal. If you hit apply, then we get our CrossRealms watermark in the back. Sometimes you see the confidential watermark on papers. So, if you ever needed to add that to anything. You can change the whole page color if you want to. It's literally, you just click on it and you can do any of these. Changes it to whatever color you like. If you wanted another color, you can go to the custom wheel, make it whatever you'd like instead of those presets. Somehow I keep clicking on blue. And lastly, there's page borders. You can do literally any of them. They kind of make the paper a little more fancy. So if you're like making a flyer, you can put a nice page border around it. So say we come down to custom, and we click on this top row, we can make it, say we want this line here, these wavy lines here, this diagonal line, and this shadowed line. Okay. And see, when we hit apply, it creates this whole border with each of the different ones that we chose. If you didn't want to do a custom, you can just do that, and it'll put a regular one on there, whichever one you choose. Okay, so that is background elements, if you ever needed to add any of those. And finally, we're going to go into saving our document into different formats. So let me make this where we were. Okay, so to do that, we're going to go into Save. So say we want to save our document the way it is. We'll hit Save As, and we want to save it to this PC. Okay, so now that we're in the Save As dialog box, you see our title. You can name it whatever you like. I'll keep it the same. And to change the type, you're going to go into this little drop-down box. And if you wanted to do just a plain text format, which is the most simple you can get, it'll open up in anything. Whichever really helps. You see we have different Word 2003, Word 97, template, Word 97 documents, This helps PDF. A lot of times people save their documents as a PDF, make it easier for other people to read. It really just depends on what you plan to do with your document. You can save it or do it as however you like. But Word document is the most basic one. It's the one that it's automatically saved as. So if you hit save, then it saved it as a Word document. Or we can do it again. We'll save it as a PDF to see how that looks. Save as a PDF. And okay, so now that's saved as a PDF. And it opens up in the web page. And there we go. So that is how you save the document that you're working on in alternate file formats. And that is all I have for you today. So thanks for tuning in, and be sure to check out our other Microsoft videos coming up. Bye.